Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the BusinessGems podcast. Today we're joined by Wendy Gannon of WoO Photography, and she's here today to talk to us all about those professional photos and just how important they are when you're trying to build a business and a personal brand.
Hey Wendy!
Hello, Wendy. Oh, it's so amazing to have you on here and to meet you. I am so excited about this podcast show today for our audience because, you know, you're a photographer extraordinaire and how you've set your business up and how you've got to this point. I can't wait for you to share all your amazing business gems. So, Wendy,
for having me.
over to you.
Oh, so what do you want to know first?
Well,
everything. All of it. Okay. So I am Wendy Gannon, or everyone calls me WoO. And I own WoO Photography. I've been doing photography for nearly 20 years. But I only had the confidence to do it full time for a year now. Blimey. Yeah. So how did I get there? I had a recruitment company called Quirk Recruitment that I started in lockdown.
Very you.
Very me, right? And Quirk was spelled Quwerk because we can't be normal. Started in October 2020. I've been doing recruitment for years and I was just lost the love, I think. And I've been building my personal brand on LinkedIn for a number of years. And I put one of my photos on one of my posts in December. What year was that? 22? December 22. And everybody was like, why are you not doing this for a living? I was like, I can't. I'm not confident enough because, you know, we've got those limiting beliefs and people have told us rubbish stuff about us in past relationships, etc. And I was like, do you know what? Let's do it. I'm going to do it. So I tried. I put like, I had an offer. Oh my God, I think the offer was like the first 10 people to book, get a photo shoot for like 350 quid or something like that. Right. And they, all of those photo shoots went in like 2 days or something. And I was like,
Shockingly, Wendy. Shocking. Honest.
So, yeah, so that's how I started doing it. I don't charge £350 now. Definitely not. I've put my prices up a number of times since then, doubled them in January as well. So yeah, and I love it. And I'm so happy. And yeah, I've never been happier in my whole entire life. And I've got LinkedIn to thank for it.
So it feels like it's not a job because you love it so much.
100%.
Wow.
But the bad thing about that is I work all the time. So I'll sit on the weekend and I'll edit some photos. I'm on LinkedIn like first thing in the morning. I'll be sitting here doing some marketing or something in the evening because, like you say, it doesn't feel like a job. But then at the end of last year, I've burnt out before, but I nearly burnt out again because I was up and down the country doing photo shoots. And even though it didn't feel like work, it was. So yes, needed to be careful not to overdo it and actually give yourself some time off, which is really hard when you love it.
Yeah, I know. So you've said you've burnt out again. So when did you first burn out then?
So it was just before lockdown, actually. You know, when everyone was saying there's nothing, they're just being silly. Oh God. So I'd found out that I was menopausal. I had a really toxic boss. I was depressed. I'd gone up to like 20 stone, wasn't like doing any, like I couldn't stand up for 10 minutes without being in pain. Ended up not being able to get out of bed for 3 months. At the time I had a really supportive partner, so I'm really, really grateful for. But yeah, a lot of people, when they say they're burnt out, they're just tired, like I used to, until you've kind of actually hit burnout. And I don't want to go back there again. It took quite a while to get back from that. So yeah.
Do you know, thank you for sharing that, because I think it's such an important topic. And, you know, it's about understanding that when you're that low, how do you ask for help and support?
Yeah.
And, you know, what was your point where you said, you know, you asked for that support that you needed?
It was I'd left it quite a long time, right? Because I think I've got ADHD and I don't know, I'm not diagnosed
Really?
yet. I have ADHD. And I
Tell it
don't
all, Wendy.
of all the people that could have had it. I don't know if because I'm not diagnosed yet. I've been waiting a year so far. I don't know if it is depression and anxiety or it's the ADHD. So, God, what was I saying?
It was, you know, when did you obviously?
Oh yeah, when did I get the help? That's right. You've set the brain off. So yeah, so I felt depressed and anxious for my life. But I didn't actually get help with it or admit to anybody really that I had it until maybe then, actually, maybe 2020. Got some counselling. Yeah, so it was a bury my head in the sand thing. And I think when other people have said, look, I've got this, I was like, I'm definitely depressed. There's definitely something wrong. I don't want to people to think I'm jumping on the bandwagon about having depression, which is another like an ADHD trait, right? So yeah, but I did get help. I went to my doctor, and they were really great. And then they sent me to Weight Watchers. Cheers. And I went to the gym and like started eating better and exercising. And guess what? Eating better and exercising makes you feel a bit better. Who would have thought it?
Shocking.
Right? They don't just say it for their own sakes.
I think as well, it might be actually worth, because you mentioned like the menopausal as well as the burnout. Actually, like, because I'm currently being tested myself as well for either endometriosis or perimenopause, and I've actually found that the symptoms and the way I feel aren't as bad if I actually eat a bit healthier, a bit cleaner, and actually do just a little bit of exercise. Even on times where like the cramps are really bad and you're feeling really shocking, just going for a 10-minute walk actually does make you feel better and it helps with those cramps and things. So even with that side, shockingly, it helps with that too.
I was going to say, Jim. Well, there's a famous quote that Jim Carrey quotes about how you basically feed the body and mind, so to help support you to be the feeling your best self. So no, I think that it's really important, I suppose, Wendy, is actually making sure, what would your advice be? I suppose what I've heard is definitely reach out for that support.
Definitely reach out for that support, because look, I can sit here all day and say, go to the gym, eat clean, but I'm not going to the gym or eating clean right now. And I know I need to, and I know I should. It's like, if you're not in the right place to do that or receive that advice from somebody, it can go the opposite way. So go and talk to your GP or phone Samaritans, or there's loads of things. There's is it called Shout, where you can text them so you don't have to talk to anybody. There's loads and loads of different things that you can do. So please reach out, because things get better. I mean, look at me now.
Well, hey, you've gone from recruitment, having that burnout, to owning WoO photography and being a absolute guru photographer. So if someone wanted to now transition their careers, because it's about career transition, isn't it? What would your advice be to those people that want to start a career transition like you did?
My first piece of advice would be to have some money saved up, like 6 months worth of money to pay your bills and stuff like that, because I brilliantly, my dad lent me money so that I could do that for the first 6 months. And I'm super grateful, and I know I'm privileged to be able to have that. But I wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise. I would have been completely screwed. So make sure you've got 6 months, maybe 6 months to a year. If you're doing something completely new, like with my photography, I already had like the LinkedIn following and the support, and the knowledge and the skills. So it was all kind of already there. I just had to do it. Whereas if you're doing something new, yeah, I'd give yourself a little bit longer. Just make sure that your bills are covered, etc. Especially this time of life. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially the way things are going now. Yeah, just need to make sure that you're secure.
I quite like to echo that as well. So I did the opposite, and I set up Social Gems without any savings whatsoever, and very much did need to make my wages that first month. However, it was a little bit easier for me, like it was with Wendy, because that personal brand and that networking had already been done historically through working for other people as a salesperson. Wendy had done it running around recruitment agency and had been a recruiter in the past. So we got that to fall back on. But even though I'd already built my online presence, I already had my network, it's the stress side of it, where you're actually putting yourself under an extreme amount of stress that's not needed. You can actually plan forward. I mean, I'm off the cuff type of person, and I was like, do you know what? I'm nearly 30. What's this? If I never try it now, I'm never going to do it. And I've transitioned into a completely different sector as well. But yeah, actually having some form of safety net does make it easier. I ended up selling my house 6 months into running Social Gems, not because Social Gems wasn't doing very well, just because I thought having that money just sat in a savings account would alleviate the stress levels and actually make it easier for me to succeed.
And did it?
Because
made a massive difference. It actually stopped me stressing out constantly. Like I actually found, most people find actually setting up a business, well, everyone thinks it's going to be exciting, but it's more daunting and scary than anything else. And I actually found like every month I was in bits and I was crying because I was so panicked about what if we lost a client? If we lose a client, then I can't pay that. And we're constantly just thinking about what if, when in reality, throughout my whole career and my whole life, and every time anything's gone tits up and I've had to start again, I've always done it and I've always come back stronger. Yeah. So I should have really focused on that element of who I am as a person, rather than you're not going to do it, you put yourself under too much pressure, what the hell's going to happen? But actually going, well, do you know what? I know this is how my mind works. I know I'm going to stress myself out about this. I need a bigger house anyway. So let's just go rented for a while so I can actually have that money sat in an account as a just in case. It never actually got used, but having it there just made me feel better.
Yeah.
No, and hey, you're both entrepreneurs, and that's what happens with entrepreneurs. You know, it's not about failing. They're learning all the time and they're growing and they come back stronger. And you two are brilliant examples of that. But the biggest thing I've heard through the conversation is be brave as well, because that's quite scary, isn't it, Wendy? What you did and what you've done, Gem, is doing that jump across and transitioning, because you're not transitioning as in setting up your own recruitment business, for example. You were, Wendy and Gem, were transitioning into a whole new field of expertise. So that's a double scary, whammy, if you like.
I think the recruitment one was scarier than the photography, but I think that was kind of my practice business, if you like. Do you know what I mean? So how to run it, how to get started, how to act, how to treat people, how to do your accounts and stuff like that, and and your content. So that was my practice business, and the photography just kind of seemed right. So it is brave, but it definitely seemed a lot less scary doing it the second time, even though it was in a completely new world.
So for photographers, sorry, Gem, you go.
So all I was going to say on that is, to be fair, we both, what me and Wendy did as well, we were in a fortunate position that although we transitioned, we were known for the things that we did anyway.
Yeah.
So like Wendy was already known for, because she'd been doing photography for over 20 years, people had already seen the images and things that she'd done. I'm from a sales background. All my sales had always been done through LinkedIn. So I'd already had people messaging me and asking me to help them with LinkedIn and show them effectively how to do what I was doing. So we were in a little bit more of a fortunate position than other people that might be starting from scratch.
So
And
you built your
actually,
reputation.
yeah, and actually the people who were my audience on LinkedIn, they were my ideal customer. So I focused my business towards that because, you know, they're already there, use it to their advantage. And do you know what? I'm so happy that I did that. It's the best photography I've ever done. Love it.
So if we got, if, you know, audience, if you're listening and you're a photographer at the moment and you want to set up your own business, what would be your top 3 things, Wendy, to set up as a photographer?
I would definitely do your personal brand on LinkedIn. So there's groups of photographers everywhere. There's networks of photographers. So definitely go do your personal brand on LinkedIn, because you're going to get the inbound leads so much better than Instagram. And TikTok's not really going to work as well for us because we've got to physically be somewhere. So if you're doing something like you, Gem, you're doing something online, you can do it with somebody across the world. Same with you, Zoe. I have to physically be there to do it. So TikTok is less for us, but LinkedIn, you just get it's just wonderful. Everyone's so lovely. Plus you get to talk to me. So that would be the first one. Do your personal brand on LinkedIn. I would say know who your ideal client is. Like, who are you aiming for? What are they doing? Where are they hanging out? And they will be hanging out on LinkedIn because everyone's there now. So personal brand on LinkedIn, find out who your ideal client is and double your prices. That's double your prices. You're not charging enough. I am now. And my prices will be going up again, but I've got a waiting list. Once the waiting list is bigger, my prices are going up. That's how it needs to be. But if you're charging X amount, I'm charging more, so you should charge more.
I just want to put a point, in fact, actually, on the personal branding thing that you'd actually said now, how LinkedIn, as opposed to Instagram and TikTok, is a really good place for photographers to be. So I completely agree with what Wendy's saying, and especially if you're actually setting up and starting a business from scratch and you're trying to build a network, it's easier to find the people that are relevant to you on LinkedIn. So people's job titles, where they're working, where they live, all that information is readily available on LinkedIn, not so much across the other platforms. So you can be a little bit more strategic with your outreach.
Yeah.
Which does help you generate that business quicker in the beginning.
So Wendy, who is your ideal client then? Who is it?
So I work with the people who it's kind of naturally gone towards are women. Not that I only take photos of women, but that's who most of the demographic is, who are the face of their business or the face of a business, and put content on LinkedIn, but using selfies, not necessarily fully confident in what they're doing with their business and their branding. Because what I do, we do loads of confidence coaching, because nobody likes having their photo taken, or they don't like photos that they've had taken of them, or they don't know how to show their personality. Because I think that you should be yourself on LinkedIn and in your business, because then you can attract people that are like you, that you can work well with, repel people that we don't like, and that's a good thing. And then you can charge more money for that. So we do lots of confidence work beforehand. And then there's loads involved in it. I won't go into it all. We do the shoot. Okay. So we do lots of confidence work, and we can have as many video calls as you want before your photo shoot. And we'll talk about poses, your branding, your wardrobe, hairstyles, your location. Is it gonna tell a story? You know, there's so many things that we're going to discuss beforehand, and then we'll do a mood board that incorporates all of that. Then on the day of the shoot, I come to you. Not many people do that, so I'll come anywhere. I went to Edinburgh last week to do a photo shoot, and back in the day. That was fantastic. And then we'll do the photos. We'll have an amazing time because we just laugh all day when you're with me, don't you, Gem? And then then we go through the photos, and you get your edited photos within 2 weeks, which is also very quick. I think 21 days is like the average for a photographer to get your photos back to you. And then like the women and men, the people that share their photos afterwards, because they love them so much, they are so confident in their branding, in their content, in what they do. Rowena Wilding hated having her photo taken and didn't like any photos of her before she worked with me. Now she loves them so much, she was confident enough to go out and get 25 grand's worth of business in 3 months. So the ROI on that was amazing.
That's amazing.
But yeah, oh my God, I love it so much.
Okay, Wendy, sign me up. Make me look fabulous, darling.
I will make you look fabulous. See, this is the thing, right? I am 100% sure that you will love the photos I take of you. Like that's not even a scam or a scheme to get you involved. I am 100% sure you'll love the photos. Everyone does.
So audience, all I can say is if you've not checked out Wendy Gannon and WoO Photography, you need to. Amazing pictures on there, absolutely brilliant. And I have to say, Wendy, I'm definitely signing up. So absolutely fabulous. But hey, Jem, we should do some joint photos. That'd be exciting.
We could do. I mean, I've already spoke to Wendy about doing some for us because so me and Wendy we were on a yacht party. We're not that posh on it.
We were on a yacht.
Yachting. Okay, darling.
Yeah, we got invited. We're not really that posh, but yeah. Wendy was actually taking photos all day, and some of the photos that she took of me, I loved. Now, everyone automatically assumes that I'm one of the most confident people on the planet because my face is all over LinkedIn, but that could not be further from the truth. Like me personally, I had bulimia for 8 years. I had to have 4 years of therapy to actually help me get over that. I'm not the most confident person in the way I look, in my face, my body, anything. I have got body dysmorphia. So I think I did a post on this about 3-4 months ago where me and Josh were supposed to be going out for dinner. He took a picture of it. I decided that my arms looked way too fat in the picture. So I ended up crying for the next 45 minutes. Refused to go out for dinner because I didn't want anyone to see the state of me. I've not got that bad for years. I think I was just tired because it was before Christmas. But I'm not confident in any way, shape, or form. But Wendy actually takes photos and makes me feel good. I also want to point out as well the fact that she stated about utilizing them as part of your personal branding on platforms like LinkedIn. Now, there is still people that will be on LinkedIn and other social media platforms that have a view of selfies are just vanity matrix. Put my teeth back in. But they're not. Actually showcasing and showing pictures of yourself constantly online builds familiarity. Building familiarity helps you build rapport quicker. When you've built rapport, it's easier to sell to someone. So inadvertently, you're making yourself familiar. So that even if you take it offline and you actually go and meet people in person and you do some face-to-face networking, you're more inclined to actually have conversations with people because they feel like they already know you because of the pictures and the content that you've already been sharing.
So agree. And I've got to say that that's exactly how I work. So where I feel like I've got to know the people, where they shared videos, photos, true stories, or, you know, their experiences, I feel like I've already got this bond before I end up having, you know, a full conversation with them. So you're right.
Trust, isn't there?
Yeah.
It changed. You notice as well when you've actually started to build that rapport and that trust up with people that the messages that you're receiving on LinkedIn actually start to change. So before you've actually done any of this, it'd be very much a hi, Wendy, or hi, Gemma. I hope you're
Congrats on the
well
new
type
role.
of thing. Yeah, that type of thing is what you're getting in your inbox from people. But like I've had first conversations, that's a sales call with someone where they've started singing "I've got the key, I've got the secret" down the phone to me because I've been dancing around lip syncing to that song on a video on LinkedIn because I've got the key and the secret to social media. I'm a little bit cheesy, so I add the cheese into my
We love
marketing,
cheese.
so it showcases to people what it's actually like working with me. It's not always going to be, we're not always going to be uber professional because that's not who I am. I know my stuff when it comes to LinkedIn. I can help you build your online presence. I can help you build your brand, but I'm not going to be serious all the time. We are going to have a laugh doing it. So I need to showcase that before you actually come to me. I also wanted to point out as well something else that Wendy had said in terms of it attracts and repels. Don't be afraid of actually repelling people. You want to, your vibe attracts your tribe, and you want to work with the type of people that you know you could work with effectively. Myself and Wendy have met each other from LinkedIn. Our bond was strengthened by actually going on a yacht and spending a bit of time together. But fundamentally, that initial conversation and that initial bond that we created had all been from the banter that we'd shared because we both don't like being too over professional online. And then that's then led to me contacting Wendy and saying, actually, can you help with our pictures? Because we're now moving into a day and age where people are like, well, do you know what? I don't have to use that person just because they're good. I don't like them. I can find someone that I do like that's just as good at the job, so that my relationships, it's easier to work with that person rather than it being an absolute fudging chore.
And what's great, you've got a friendship now, a genuine relationship. It's gone to the next level as well. So, and you know, I always think about when you say that, Gem, about you've got to create your tribe. And I think that's so important, is like-minded people coming together can create amazing things. But hey, Wendy, sorry, back to you, because I really want you to share with the audience your top 3 pitfalls that, you know, or challenges you've had to overcome when you set your business up. There might be none, but you know, let's get some advice.
That'd be nice. So
In an ideal world.
yeah. So I'm going to go back to the ADHD thing. It's been a real challenge because, believe it or not, I didn't realize I had it until last year. I say it to people and they're like, yeah, but you knew, right? I was like, I actually didn't know. I didn't know. I'm going to bring all of this together. So having ADHD, loving what I do, those two, and lacking in confidence, right? So those are the 3 things that I've struggled with, but brilliantly, I have had help. So I don't know if you guys know, but there's something that the government have got called access to work. And if you're neurodiverse, if you've got like a limiting illness or a disability, then you can apply for access to work. And it's really easy. Everybody who's got those things that I've just mentioned, go onto the government website, search access to work and apply for it. So I did that, and they gave me an assessment. And from that assessment, because we worked out I was doing 85.5 hours a week. Wow. No wonder I burnt out. We worked out that 25.5 hours of that can be taken away from me and done by somebody else. So they gave me a support worker, or a pot of money, so I could get a support worker and some other stuff. So like, it depends on what you need, right? So I got some headphones to help me concentrate. I got some software to help my organization. But now there's like, so they gave me a 40 grand pot, so I can have somebody doing those 25.5 hours a week for me as a support worker. And now that support worker has hired other people, so that there's now like 5, nearly 6 of us that we're photography now. So that has helped me with my ADHD, because they gave me ADHD coaching as well. It helps me with my overwhelm. It helps me to stop doing work because I don't have to do it everything all the time. My confidence is growing because I can just focus on taking photos, talking, building relationships, and editing photos. And it's just like, honestly, it's been amazing. And I thank you, government, for something. Yeah.
And I bet so many people don't know about this, Wendy.
No, they don't. Absolutely.
Wow.
And while you have got to have ADHD or be neurodiverse or etc., you don't have to be diagnosed yet. So I'm not diagnosed. I've been on the waiting list for 1.25 years now. So you don't have to be physically diagnosed by the doctor, but obviously you have to have an assessment, and they'll know if you are. So yeah, if you are suffering, if you've got your own business, even if you're working for a company, then they give the company money and your company pays to help you. Like if you need a standing desk or you need a special chair or something like that, it will all get sorted out and everything will be much easier for you.
Right, so that's access to work on the government website. Then people need to go and have a look at.
And it's really easy to do as well. There's a form, but it's not massively long.
Wow, that's amazing.
To be fair, if it were massively long, I don't think you'd get me or you to fill it in one day, because like people used to hate forms.
Exactly that. Exactly. And like if anybody needs any help or pointers, like I'm happy for you to message me.
Oh, that's really kind. So Wendy, what's next for WoO Photography then? What's next?
So I am so excited. So I've just put in to have a not-for-profit organisation, so a CIC, and we are going to like subsidise photo shoots for emerging artists. So any emerging artist, so you could be a singer or a painter or I don't know, someone who does crochet, anything, any emerging artist, if they can't afford a photo shoot, we will subsidise that money so that they can afford to have it, because like we need to help the poor people. poor people need to help poor people. Everyone needs to help
people starting out.
100%, yeah. Like my daughter went to London College of Fashion and she had to work and do all of the work, whereas there was loads of other rich people that just sent it all off to China to get made. So she had to like physically sit and do it all. We don't want that for everybody. We want everybody to have the same start in life or start in their career. You know, like we need to move that gap.
That's brilliant. Wow. So when's this starting, Wendy? When's this?
Well, I've got to go. It's long. It's a long process, but the forms have gone in, and it's hopefully soon. But if you are an emerging artist and you need a photo shoot, then give me a shout. And if it's not up and running yet, I'm sure we can sort something out.
Oh, that's amazing. So you've shared so much advice, and it's been brilliant, really got loads, and I hope the audience, you've got loads from today. But what anything else, any amazing business gems you need to share, Wendy, that we've missed?
Oh my God. I mean, what you need to do, you need to follow me and then book an appointment with me and then have a chat and then we can have a photo shoot together. That's what we need to do.
Right, so you've heard it here from Wendy. That's follow her. But no,
just be sneaky. Like go for what you want. Go and get it.
Believe in yourself is the biggest thing I've heard throughout this program. Believe you can do it, and guess what? You will, and you've both shown that. Absolutely amazing. And do you know what's lovely? It's about how you've both said as well, reach out to me if you need any advice, any help, get in touch. And that is about why I love LinkedIn. It's about supporting one another through a great network, because everybody needs help at some time. So absolutely amazing.
Lonely. It's so lonely sometimes. Yeah.
It is totally. Yeah. So Gem, anything to add before I move on to the exciting bit?
Other than just reiterating the networking piece, so like Wendy had said in the beginning, when you're actually setting up a business, actually networking, finding your tribe online isn't necessarily a bad thing. Don't overthink it when you're actually trying to create content and things. The best way to explain it to you is today's news is tomorrow's chip paper. No one's going to remember what you said, so don't overthink it. Just post what you think. You've also got the fact as well that there are going to be some people turned off by you sharing your views, your opinions, your ethics, and your morals, because not every single person's going to have the same views as you. Don't take it to heart. It is going to happen. There's going to be the majority of people are actually going to be supportive. You're going to get the odd person that isn't, but the odd person that isn't was never going to buy from you anyway, so it's not a massive loss.
And if they did, they would be the worst client.
Yeah, I like to, in those situations, you always apply the head tax.
The what?
Have you not heard of this? The D-head tax. I'm trying not to swear. So when you know someone's going to be an absolute nightmare of a client, you add some extra money on to overprice it, expecting them to say no. And then if they don't say no and they end up working with you, you don't feel as bad because you're making some extra money.
Yeah.
You've got the D-head tax applied.
Wow, we're learning loads today, audience. No, fab.
None of my clients have got D-head tax applied.
Thank goodness.
Love it. I love it.
Well, hey, thank you. And I've got something really exciting now to ask you. So what happens is that each guest at the end of the show gives a question for the next guest. So I'm going to ask you for a question for our next podcast, Business Gem guest. But I've got one for you first that was left from our last guest. So the question is, if you could work with anyone that's, famous or a character, who would it be and why?
It would be Bill Murray. It would be Bill Murray. Like, I initially thought of Bernard's Watch, but no, Bill Murray. He is just an absolute legend. I love him with all of my heart. He's so funny.
He's a right laugh.
I like. Could you know? Like, we'd be best friends.
James Corden, me and him lip syncing in cars, we'd have a right laugh.
Well, hey, let's try and get James Corden on the Business Gems. I bet he's got loads to share.
He's a really bad man.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. Brilliant. No, thank you. And what I've got to get my pen and paper now, because what question would you like to ask our next guest?
Oh God, I can only think of really boring ones. Okay, let's go down the similar vein. If you, oh no, oh my God, I'm overthinking it. What's your favourite breakfast cereal?
Good one.
How rubbish is that?
Yeah, no.
Do you know what? For you though, I expected it to be a little bit more. Not gonna lie,
being very good. Being very good. Like the questions that are in my head should not be said.
Oh yeah, don't share, Wendy. No, honestly. Thank you so much for your time today, Wendy. And audience, I hope you've really enjoyed listening, because I think there's been so much business gems. I've got loads from this show, like I get from all our shows. But thank you again so much. Okay. See you soon.